Just for once, pretend that all I've got to offer is more than enough for you. Let this man keep dreaming and believing that you can be the one for me, that you might choose me above all those rushing crowds competing for a lock of your hair or a cold-hearted stare from your unseeing eyes. You don't gaze my way ever. You just look straight past me. You can't wait to stomp my head down into the ground like an unwelcome snake visiting round your doorway. Did I scare you when I tried to be open and honest with you? Did you catch an inkling of what I was on about? Should I have joked around more? Should I have been less serious with you? Yet I thought that's what you were into. I have had girls question before why I don't want to talk about Jesus more often. Why do I keep bringing the focus back to human concerns, yet it seems to be the opposite with you? And that's what I don't get, 'cause I thought you were a deeply spiritual person. I guess leading worship isn't the same as leading yourself to the living water. You force others to drink or invite them willingly, but you never take more than a sip for yourself. You never fully submerge yourself in it. What is holding you back? What's up with your fear? Surely your loving God is not going to hurt you if you get to know Him deeper. Is it that you are not in possession of the knowledge of His female nature? What is it that keeps you holding back from fully embracing His love for you, allowing Him to be everything He wants to be to you like He is for me? I don't think you put up walls that prevent the Spirit from moving you, but surely there must be an element of trust on your part that it's possible for you to see His power manifest in you. Do you see what I'm getting at? Or do you just skim over these delicate little details as if I was discussing a skimpily dressed delinquent? Better off glossing over those incidents of night swimming and skinny dipping. There is a difference between believing something is possible and actually witnessing it manifest right before your very eyes. I wish you had been so blessed to view for your own self the transformations taking place, sicknesses being abolished from bodies by the power of the Holy Spirit, feeling that Holy Ghost shaking going on when the fiery one, that dove of peace invades your soul. I wonder how I came to be this person that you see before you. It took a lot of pain and agony to push me away from my intended destiny in Jesus. There was a lot of being locked up behind closed doors, hearing voices still murmuring and chirping happily beyond the reach of my wooden cell. Some say that it was self-enforced, that I deserved to be barricaded from interaction when I only led to ungodly distractions. Yet God was always the center of my affections, and human relationships had nothing to do with it. Just make me take a couple of extra trips over nothing, accustomed to these familiar stumbling blocks. Sealed doors like closed up tombs suddenly come bursting open on me. I don't get why I am the one being placed on trial here. Did I leave a trail of grubby footprints behind me, following me back from the kitchen-bound fridge to my cozy little nook located just next door to that blazing fireplace I valued so dearly? Can you tell me what seems to be the problem here? What needs changing in this picture of bliss? Could I perhaps avoid the bullets meant to split my skull open, meant to sever my body's connection to the head of the church? Christ Himself. I know making excuses is useless, but it seems to be second nature to me these days. Keep on blazing bright for me. Never lose your light, honey. People strap bombs to their chests and hijack planes all the time these days, threatening to blow themselves up. When are we ever going to grow up? Will we be forever trapped in cellulitis, valueless kidults? People keep deluding themselves that the less they have of God is more than enough. I'm not ready to deal with the rough waters coming up just ahead. I fail to see why my erratic nature is so problematic for my fellow believers to swallow with the ease of sweet cough syrup. If you stand on your hands and the blood rushes to your head, when you wake up from your knocked out consciousness, when you wake up with a heart of kindness, capital notions diminish the scourge wreaked upon us by the knockers who mock us with their eyes, while their heads continue to nod and lips agree with us. But it is all a pretense. You will never spot them leaping to our defense. If I continue unrepentant in my sin, I can only blame myself if the pits of hell is my eternal prison sentence. Doesn't matter how pretty her face is. If she causes me to abandon my faith, she will never be my Avalon. She will always be better off, forgotten. I had never intentionally neglected someone in my life. Until that moment when I saw she didn't own the same hunger as I. Though immobilized, I became deeper immersed in love with my Creator as the days go by. I want you to feel His power flowing through you. When you sit down, when you stand up, when you lie on your side, back or belly, I don't know how your jelly rolls. Counting down my days in coffee scrolls, holding hands in prayer, hoping you will heed my pious plea and lead the charge to be my best defender in this ugly situation. I am facing the potential dismantling and disassembling of my reputation. I am dealing with the loneliness of knowing I am not everyone. Every soul doesn't share the same struggles as me. It takes on different forms. We don't always acknowledge the existence of whatever trauma it is that's haunting us and holding us back from the arms of the Lion of Zion. Sometimes you have to slide all the way to the bottom of the mountain to see how it's possible to reach the top. Do not be content with that halfway place you are right now. So far from where you could be, yet exactly where you should be. If only God would increase your cravings for the finer things that lie beyond this life. Quit lying to yourself that there is no hope of you ever experiencing that miraculous transformation others have willingly received. You can talk in tongues too. You can sing with prophetic utterances. You can burst into spontaneous flames of holy worship just like others do. But don't copycat them. Just be you. There is good reason why I should be lashed and whipped for the way I express myself. But will having my flesh stripped to the point of bleeding prevent me from craving those dark desires again? Or will that fire keep on burning? Lord, assist my turning away from the evil one towards the things that please your Son alone. What if I never reach that place of peace where I wish to be? What if the war never ceases till the return of this planet's maker? What if that solace we were searching for was nowhere to be found on this earth, but only in your heart alone? I lay my life down before your holy throne. Why do I moan and groan about the rumblings and grumblings in the ranks? See how I'm tumbling further down the rabbit hole, mumbling and muttering under my breath, begging you to save my soul. I was cluttering my head like leaves crumbed in the gutter. My heart goes a-flutter when I see a rare beauty. When I speak, I occasionally get nervous and start to stutter. Spit when I speak, kinda spluttering like an old broken down lawnmower, struggling, wheezing with exhaustion and suddenly chugging back to life. See me bumbling my way around the beehives. Your apples are crumbling. The experience of losing my lady love was humbling. We shouldn't have to dumb down the truth or compromise it in any way. You don't want to lose the meaning of the meaning the more times you mutilate the text beyond recognition. Ambition gets in the way of holiness and genuine authenticity.
I love to feel that Holy Ghost electricity. I have the audacity to stand up for righteousness, doing what pleases you more than just pleasing myself. I need to wake up to my need for you, invite you into every moment of my life. Keep believing you will flip this situation on its head for me. All the things I fear and dread will be tossed into the ocean blue. I am moving to the motions of you. Urge to seek you, grinning lopsidedly. Chide me if you must. You provide for my every need. My intention is to go to heaven or bust. I thank you because you're faithful and just, remaining nonplussed when things don't go the way I planned them to. Dealing with the stress and the strain of all those things, forcing me to keep my distance from you. This is just an aperitif. Catching a whiff of the fragrance of your divine presence. Try to stay pleasant when everyone has agendas. We all seem to have plans as to how other people should live their lives. I couldn't survive without the love you showed me. Feels so good to know you. Just want to grow more deeply integrated with your heartbeat, refusing to be defeated by difficult circumstances, clinging tightly to your promises. I stood resolute in my determination to never attempt to undermine your authority. I love it when I can feel you close to me, even though I'm the least cooperative of individuals. I have wandered far from the sanctuary of your arms, yet you still charmingly knock down my defenses, cause them to come crashing down to the ground. With your love assaulting all the bitterness and hatred in me, you quiet the revolt inside of me. You know the result will be tranquility when I choose to dwell in the tent of your love, instead of allowing misery to get the better of me. Feel me going weak at the knees. I only ever catch butterflies with my eyes. Caterpillars are easy, they move more slowly. I wrestle with these anxious thoughts of mine. I know you told us not to cast pearls before swine, or to pour new wine directly into old wineskins, because they have a tendency to split. I don't want to quit on those who love me, just because things are getting difficult for us. I don't need to cause anyone to grieve over the results of an ever-lonesome heart. Sometimes you need your friends to act as your second memory when your own doesn't seem to work. Can I borrow a spare brain box? Please? Why am I always seeking alternatives to trusting in you? Why am I forever blaming you for the changes taking place in my life, yet when something wonderful happens, I forget to adopt an attitude of gratitude and calmly and callously write it off as coincidence instead? I need to feel your constant presence. I want to know you were there when the tears keep pouring out like rivers out my eyelids. I ran and hid from you when I knew that you knew I had been caught red-handed sinning, and I thought foolishly there was somewhere on earth your eyes couldn't find me. What was I scared of? Thinking you would punish me, knowing for sure there were times you need to admonish me. But your love and your grace continue to astonish me. You can bring me back to you as it is possible for you to restore me to wholesomeness and truth. You were never completely out of my reach. My actions need to match my speech. I should practice what I preach and quit trying to write checks my butt isn't prepared to cash. Watch me put my money where my mouth is. That's not the only way I say I love you, Jesus. You are able to use every aspect of my life for your glory, not just my finances. I'm banking my heavenly treasures in your everlasting account every time I bring a smile to the face of someone else, especially when I know they are not able to return the favor. I should never give, expecting to see my good deeds return to me anyway. Keep me from falling astray. Help me remain focused on you only.
Keep my heart locked in yours and throw away the key. Did you ever wake up in the morning wondering what you were doing locked up inside your skin? Did you regret those decisions you made in the past? Did you let them gobble up your will to continue into the future? Perhaps we won't struggle to avoid caving into the pressure, always and forever. Are you scared about all those people who claim to know you? who want to stake out a part of you. It can be difficult attempting to convince the world you mean them no harm, you only want to bring a little hope to the world. You shouldn't allow your mind to become so mangled up by all these issues that flatly refuse to change or go away in a hurry. There are plenty of terrified individuals gathered along the vast eternal highway. You don't want to be wrong about where you choose to spend always and forever, because the end result can be dangerous and deadly. Be on your guard in case you fall into the sticky net, like trap of temptation. Don't let it grip itself to you. Keep your eyes open, just in case you slip up like others have before you. We can be very weak when it comes to illicit substances. Have the same standards for your life that Jesus does. If you have to question within yourself whether he would do it, then don't. Remember that he didn't exclude himself from anybody's company. Even those who came to trick him, trip him up, and openly persecute him, he displayed his love towards them. We have to use our time wisely, because it disappears so quickly. Knowledge has no power till you use it for his glory. There are days when I feel myself being pulled out of my comfort zone. It is then in those moments that I need to become completely submerged in your love, until I shut out everything around me. And the only thing that matters is your heartbeat, and the only thing that counts is just bringing joy to your spirit. You can solve those mysteries for me. When my friends disappear fast as my fingers can click, can I have a little liberty? Ring that bell of true emancipation. Let every nation join in celebration of the deliverance we have received, thanks to your manumission, willingly submitting yourself to suffering so we can be your holy emblems. Let us not lose that gusto and enthusiasm for you. We may never return to that place again, when we feel your spirit moving and grooving within us this side of heaven. Dealing with those awkward moments, we need you to heal our hurts and disappointments. Just focusing on you helps our problems to fade away from us. Remind me of all the issues I have to wrestle with, that I simply left dangling off the edge of a cliff, unable to handle their Roman candle-like fierceness. If not assembled and let off with the utmost care. Living your life with creative flair. Just because everyone else is pairing off, it doesn't mean you have to join them. Go against the flow of the courage. Let your soul be filled with abundant praise. It does my heart good to hear when that which was once lost is found again. This gives me a certainty that heaven is waiting for me. Shut up the voice of argument, the one that never ceases to be irritated with me. Hear when the enemy is speaking through somebody, and when it's clearly distinguishable from your gentle loving tones. It doesn't take much to get back on the loyalty train. God is able to bring beauty out of the worst kind of pain. Those people who persecute you aren't even in your lane. It's funny how the butterflies all hang out in the garden when the birds have flown elsewhere. Did you dare to be different, knowing the risk you run in doing so? You might get mocked or picked on. You could get someone throwing something harder than rotten vegetables at your face. Why would you want to erase your past? I keep on running my bubbling brook of a mother mouth, hoping and praying it will lead me out of trouble instead of into it. Will the world slip away from me before I slip away from the world also? In every place we have traveled, you have always come with us. In our time of need, you always came through for us. Sometimes in more phenomenal ways than others. Here I am looking for opportunities to share your love with the world. The trees are shaking, but my belief remains steadfast, rooted and grounded in your purest love. I know there were times when I failed to keep my eyes on you.
That is when I started to drift down the river into treacherous waters. But there was no danger I ever placed myself in that it wasn't possible for you to rescue me from. I can't seem to stop myself from slipping into this delirious mental state which comes over me suddenly, and I have absolutely no control over it. That can be a scary place to be if I lose my inhibitions, if I allow myself to drift far from the ways of righteousness. Propping my eyelids open with matchsticks again. I feel so comfortable and chilled in this warm, inviting place. I could just relax forever in this coziness. I have erred more times than I can count. Still you put the bounce back in my spirit, you never bailed on me. Even when I drill my mind in that infirmary-like mentality. Some only choose to be the problem, never the fixer. There are those who decide to only see part of the image, never the complete picture of what I'm inside and out. I like to think of what I'm capable of doing instead of what I'm forced to stick in a too hard basket. I didn't intentionally treat you cold and harshly. I just wanted you to see me as somebody you could use to expand your kingdom. Extend your hand of grace and mercy to me. See how I make a turkey out of myself far too often for my own good. People press the bill of my wrongs in front of my face. I learned to stay away from company. To run the very second I see the enemy coming and kill me. Even though I know the maker of the universe is living inside of me. I guess I don't know the strength he is able to achieve. Better than any comic book or cartoon superhero. Cause his power is unlimited, plus he is the real deal. He doesn't need special weapons, the fleshly kind which breaking can be drained of ammo and usefulness. He uses our mouths and his word to empower us. He showers us with blessings despite our constant complaints. Always wanting more, never grumbling. I wouldn't blame him if he moved right along and found someone else to use who isn't always condemning him or putting him down. Telling him how we could have improved that particular sequence of events in history. But we don't know how you will bring something good out of a bad situation because we have free will. You force yourself to work within the limits of its confines. Though you also have a way of blocking those who attempt evil. Also, you can give your legs that extra bit of energy so it can run away from danger when it comes up close and personal with us. I am not always conscious of your hand moving behind the scenes of your creation. I do not always give you enough credit, and I don't know if it's ever possible to thank you enough for the many times you have been a source of comfort for me. You are the best company. The more I think about you, the more my innocence returns to me. That overwhelming holiness that rushes in and out of my veins, guide me back to those things which seem to have grown legs and run away from me. What is it about me that craves drama and conflict? Why can't I just enjoy this calmness and stillness? Let it simmer through. Let it instill your joy within me. I don't know how people comfort themselves when they don't have your constant hope and companionship. You spur me on when I lack the will to continue unabated. You elevate my mental state. I choose not to exaggerate what happens in my life. Just be real about the fact I hang about with clouds of joy and gloom lying over my head. Lying overhead as I sit on my bed and stare out the window until I'm forced to strain my eyes to see anything distinguishable in this inky shadowy blackness. It's not like I'm all talk no action, but I feel I lack the skills to make something of substance out of my life, even though I've done it before. Even though you've used me more times than I have things to count. Though the number of women who ever reciprocated my love is more than failures, I could probably count on one hand. You replace everything that has been lost in my life. You bring back everything that has been stolen of me. You renew my joy when it seems to be keeping this distance from me. You cause my righteousness to vanish. You cause my nightmares to vanish instantly in the light of your eyes. Your angels stand in the way between potential perpetrators of crimes and their victims. You keep the little old lady walking home in the darkness from being dropped and kicked by bullies. 'Cause your heavenly bodyguards stand in their way and block their bullets. Keep their fingers firm, gripping the weathered neck. Let her live another day to spoil again, kids with lollies. Or finish that jumper she was knitting for those sailors, shivering their bones off in the Arctic Sea. Perhaps I need to be a little more sincere in my actions, in the way I express my thoughts. You are the cure for my depression, better than any drug. You are the healer of my pain. I don't need to make my body numb with medicine. All I need to do is cry to you, and you will answer me. You can rescue me. You were wonderful the way you sealed up my wounds. How you stopped that woman's blood from flowing. You give me the strength to keep on going when my hope has faded fast. You restore it to my soul. If I have faith, hope, and love, then I have all I need in this life. You break the cycle for me. Stop me continually repeating the same pattern of behavior. Bring my Savior back to the self again. I know you're living in my heart right now. You gave that man those awesome skills to paint a picture upside down. The kind where you can actually tell what it is. Not when you find yourself walking around in circles today, scratching your head red and raw over it. Eventually it seems you can't run away from your destiny. It will catch up with you inevitably. Ultimately, my life was in your hands. The fire may have gotten dropped, but it didn't die, just spread wide. Let us all be little touches spreading your love light around the world. Let us never stop praising you with all we got. With every fiber of our being, let me not be so neglectful and disrespectful of you. I'm trying to figure out why some people place more importance in traditions and rituals than they do in the simple, pure love of you. How can even the tiniest slice of sand or soil belong to anyone else but you? And you are brave and continue to operate my limbs at full capacity. I can tell you will not allow us to suffer in silence forever. You make sure our voice is heard. You hear the cries of your children's hearts, even as the blade or rusty axe head approaches our necks. My heart cries out to you, for you are my constant help. Even as I am experiencing this excruciating pain right now, I will hold on to the truth of you. My life isn't worth living if I deny you. I think of all the things you have done for me in the past. How you woke me up this morning, how your love will always last. If it cost me my life, would I still remain the Christian I claim to be? If they slaughtered me like a newborn lamb, you put for your hand.
Drastic measures. I get how some of my friends' faith may have been pushed to the edge by their experiences, but they kept on holding on and believing in you, knowing your deliverance was only footsteps away. You can call me an extremist. The way I like to drink my coffee is the creamiest. Jump in the river and go fishing for some bream. If I ever had a home girl on the regular, can't she be the dreamiest? Right now my tears are streaming 'cause this engine is the steamiest. I want my life to serve a purpose, not be useless and meaningless. I can't believe that you would ever find anything worth kissing in me. Let me pursue you more relentlessly, prevent those disasters from happening to me. In a trance-like state, your romance is so great. Words alone can't explain it, for it simply has to be experienced. You were taking over this fragile little egg-like soul of mine. As frail and weak as I am, you help me breathe easier. Resist the urge to keep looking over my shoulder, paranoid just in case someone is watching me. Worried there might be spies watching over my house, lying in wait for me to slip up so they can spring a trap on me. Did I forget your loving eyes are also gazing down upon me? Did I forget your hands surrounding me and protecting me? Oh, what a fool I was, not to aim to reflect you in all I do. Turn me away from the sinister side of my heart.
Purify me when I fall away from your holy digits. I know I have felt your hands of comfort during all of those moments when I was too hasty to rush into decisions and immediately felt the aftershocks. Give me the foresight to see just enough steps in front of my current actions to know when I'm causing damage to my future or others, potentially. I never meant to hurt or traumatize anybody. I never meant to be anybody's excuse to be an old maid or a confirmed spinster. Never getting married, digging in the hills. Determined not to be used and abused again. Too scared of being taken advantage of to allow the natural process of physical contact to unfold between married couples. We face the pressure to perform to the best of our ability. I need to make a concerted effort to focus on all your benefits and wisdom. It is most befitting of me to give you praise and glory. You were kidding me up with everything I need to survive in this life. Keep the grit, remove the grindiness from my mentality. Let me not make excuses for sin any longer. I've been far too comfortable with my misbehaving ways. Now is the time to start acting nice instead of naughty. Not just because I not just because I want to get presents under my Christmas tree, but because I need to safeguard my eternal future. Knowing what will happen if you find any unconfessed enemy. You will throw me in the fires of hell with the devil and his angels. But if I walk pure and holy and do what is right in your sight, then I don't have to worry about the future, do I? There is no need for me to remain stressed out of my mind over things I wish I could have done differently in my life. Take away any resistance to you that still remains in me. Yet, let me submit to your will completely. Let me not be constantly competing with your desires for my heart, Holy One. O stunning creator of the heavens and earth. And yet, thank you for all the mistakes you have taught me how to make. I appreciate you for not leaving me all by myself in this world. You look behind the comforter to help us. You breathe your holy fire inside of us. See how it sets our hearts alight, a bright blaze that consumes the whole world. You will be my protector and my rescuer since the beginning of time. You have sealed your covenant with me. In your blood you have written it. Your hand of blessing can never be removed from my life. Have I lost part of myself when I say goodbye to my sweet love? Never mind, there's no turning back the clock, only facing this cold future for me now. Perhaps I will discover someone to warm the cockles of my heart again. I know you can bring it to me. You can restore and heal shattered friendships. I failed to figure out what I should have saved for the negotiation tape. To pick up that debate for a later date, but it got shut down before the plane taxied up the airport. And the wheel zoomed up, taking off the ground. Is it possible that I might find someone compatible? A fellow combatant on the same team, not tossing daggers forward from the opposite squad. I know the godliness you placed in me long ago is still in me, even if it has been very deep under the filth and garbage of the world. I must confess I was a person who was wrestled with being ashamed of the gospel when they shut me down, when the situation started getting heated and everyone in the van was entitled to an opinion on all the right to share their belief except for me. It was pretty hostile, even though my boss at the time did believe in the Almighty. Go figure, there's a difference between loving in name only and loving with the passionate intensity obvious to everybody. That your love is real and not easily defeated or removed from your spirit. You can help me start all over again, restore and replace those things of mine that may be missing or stolen. Help me not assume the worst when I don't have any evidence to suggest that my whole existence is going to be flushed down the toilet any minute now. Learning how to live my life holy. Worthy of your calling on my life. Don't let me be distracted by the busyness of this world. It's okay to mix business with pleasure, just not to treasure your business above Jehovah or to treasure your pleasure ever. Make sure those things that make you euphoric also have that same effect on God. Maybe we need to be more strict on ourselves to stick to the rule book. Remove any mean or cruel streaks in me. You sustain my sincerity. You see your use in me. When I feel as if I am pointless, a blunt pencil. You sharpen my mind, you train my fingers for war and my hands for battle. You are my great emancipator, you man, your mission makes my heart forever grateful. I hope the most important friend in my life is still a part of my heart in 10 years' time. It doesn't help much if I struggle to express myself, if I make things awkward by just responding to a casual inquiry with silence. Help me not respond to hatred with violence. Play those sax and violins. Let me not be the linchpin, the one receiving all the blame for all the trash in this world. I get how I make myself an easy target. I don't deserve your grace, yet still I plead before your mercy seat for about 1,000,000 more second chances. You are the holy lamp of love that will never be burned out. You turn my situation around. My weeping becomes forgiven. My grief becomes a lasting happiness, the wound that never dies no matter what occurs in life. I can feel you stirring in my spirit, keeping the lines between what is holy and infernal from becoming blurred by my teardrops. I let the fear take over my brain. I let it gobble me from the inside out. Revitalize this broken down heart. Restore me when it feels like I'm wrecked beyond hope of repair. I have confidence that I'm going somewhere where there will be no pain or sorrow because of you. Some of us are bruised and beaten beyond facial or gender recognition. So brutalized that we resemble a battered fish. Let those ones of us who suffer like that have been carried aloft in a golden chariot beyond the stars. You're reaching down to us, raising our heads lowered with sorrow, healing our eyes up off the ground. I don't want to be the kind of person who you make promises I don't intend to keep, or merely lacking the follow through to the level of goods, 'cause I aim too high. I shot for the someone I should have been even a little lower perhaps. For my God, all things are possible. I sit in his lap and draw comfort from being close to his eyes. I didn't want to be the excuse making too. Always putting off for tomorrow what I could get done today. Little realizing it might be too late to spread the good news to some people. When their bodies are with us but their spirits no longer remain. Taken away to that holding place, that holy chamber of wonders. You are an enigma wrapped up in a mystery. You are the ultimate mystery maker. All eternity hangs on the balance of your palm, nestling our planet close to your chest. The zest you inspire in us will never die. The world keeps rotating, amazing as it is. But fellow believers suffer so much collateral damage to their lives and limbs. I don't blame you for disaster. You will always be my Lord and Master. By your hands I was crafted. You blast away your spiritual opposition that stands in your way. But in those you used as its vessels, you speak to the holy nature you placed in us and call it forth out of us. You summon a little child to emerge from the stomach of the monster. You pull it out of the heart of its eyes. You evaluate a situation on a case-by-case basis. Meet us right where it's situated, captivating our hearts. Let me be completely relying on you, never on myself. Let me keep your face forever in my sight. Your eyes are blinding with brilliant prism-like light, containing all the colors of the spectrum. Your joy is contagious, it spreads throughout my being. Your people are hungry and thirsty for more of your heart. You fulfill me and sustain me. You remain with me, even in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with that cup of divine oil. My life is overflowing with your abundant blessings. What reason have I to stress when I am guided by your infinite kindness, holy and righteous one? Help me obey your commandments and stay conscious of your presence. Guide me in my quest to be loving to my neighbors. Yes, we will suffer some setbacks, but you will never alter in any of your ways. You still remain steadfast. Though I deserve to be blasted with the heat of your angry nostrils, still you embrace me. Help me face the future. I shouldn't change the way I define respect from a godly way to a worldly way just because circumstances attempt to dictate a change in my attitude. I shouldn't make respect depending on whether someone has treated me the same way. Can you tell me to love my enemies and do good to those who attempt to exploit me and say all kinds of evil things against me? Suffering counts more if the reason I'm experiencing it is for your name's sake. Now I'm wide awake. I see my need for you in every passing moment. I could build a monument to you, but that's not what you require. A broken heart and small beginning you will not despise. Open my eyes so they can see you moving in my life and all around my world. Let me not ever turn my back on you again. You fill my bucket when it's empty. You would never allow me to go hungry. For even one day that wasn't a matter of personal choice. I was guided by a voice to help others who were suffering. To be your listening ear and occasionally your talking mouth. Let your words of life flow through my lips. Let me do as you desire, even when at first it seems a far more difficult path. In the easy street of Satan's kingdom, but I know for sure that the lights and tasty temptations of this world will only lead me to suffering and shame. It will only cause my heart to be consumed by an unceasing burning flame. I will only have myself to blame if I wind up there. But I know you got that heavenly mansion prepared for me. So my past doesn't have to be my future, thanks to you, Jah. Flush the garbage at my mind that flows in through my eyes and ears and pours its way out my mouth. They will tell me I'm not ready for success. I wouldn't know how to handle it. They say I am far too obnoxious for my own good. They say I have to work on my manners. I interrupt people. I am rude and obnoxious. As much as I want the world to get along like a house on fire, I know that isn't always possible if we are expected to bite our tongues when we disagree. I can't handle that kind of world. That's not the kind of universe I want to live in, thank you very much. Truth be told, I don't think any of us do. Because as much as we say we crave peace, it would be nauseating never to be able to express a difference of opinion or beliefs. We don't realize how subtle it is, the little judgments and decisions we make. Are we all going to eat the same kind of sandwiches now? Must we dress the same and ignore our gender and cultural differences? Like pretending they don't exist makes us better somehow. Shouldn't we celebrate our differences as much as our similarities? The problem begins when one culture or gender lords it over the other. We were only meant to have one boss. That is a king of kings and lord of lords. He is afraid to those living in the street who don't have enough to eat, who have to sleep in cardboard boxes on the bridges, roughing and stretching out on a swag or a blanket in a park or on a city bench somewhere, or deep in the bush, if they can get away with it. There is no honor among thieves, but there generally is among those who dwell on street corners, with exception to gangsters, forever striving to protect their set. I will be sweating it up, falling in the sauna of my guilty conscience. Some places to go home to, but they hate the loneliness of a cold and empty jump with nobody to share it with. How many people in genuine need are there living on the streets? How many are just panhandlers, taking advantage, manipulating those who have hearts of compassion? It's emptying up their bank accounts until their pockets always begging for more, never satisfied with a fair amount of goods and services rendered. Not conscious of the treasure in heaven awaiting all those who do good deeds, not willing to intercede for the sick of the struggle, till you get hit with your own crisis. I love the way God intervenes on our behalf, preventing us from treating each other nasty and mean, keeping us keen on each other when we want to keep our distance from each other. reminding us of the things we can appreciate about each other. We should have played that game instead of just one involving clever words. Or watching a movie about game shows, cheats and kids and poverty, ladies exploited as prostitutes and little boys forced to beg for a tiny amount of coin. It's tragic to see this happening in the world. If we start buying sweatshop clothes, maybe we can be the answer to someone's prayer. We have so many woes and cares in this world. I know I gotta feel my spirit, not my flesh. I get so stressed. I forget to count my blessings. I get too bogged down in my own mess to see the city on the hill shining bright, set off in the middle distance. I forget to treat people with love and respect. I neglect the necessity of treading with caution, just in case I get the love. Just in case I get somebody upset again. Too many folks be suffering behind the bars of jail cells right now. Some of them accused of crimes they didn't commit. Others guilty in the eyes of the Lord, but simultaneously making Jesus proud. Because they are suffering for the sake of holiness. They are experiencing all this persecution for the sake of the creation of a mighty harvest of souls. While the people mess around with my stuff behind my back. It makes me so annoyed, so distraught. I want to destroy some robots. But I use my time more productively, stomping on the devil's head instead. We don't always find it easy to love. It's hard to believe the sincerity of somebody's faith when you meet them in the slammer too. I guess in desperate times when people are willing to believe in almost anything, if it was distracted from their side and its surroundings. I didn't want the whole world ganging up against me. I thought I was the center of attention, but I could have easily slipped away into the background if I wasn't made aware of the impact my loud voice would have on the room. Partially lost and drowned out by clapping. Hear the sound of little dogs yapping. When Jesus comes back, you don't want to get caught napping. I know what it is I need to know in order to excel in life, but I haven't got those marketing skills. See that krill devouring the plant. You can bank on me to always treat you like a queen. Even though I get nasty and mean, it takes a lot to convince me to throw you away. Let's stay alright tonight. When does encouragement towards empowerment become submission? Why are some of us always trying to change the way we look on the outside? Is that a reflection on how we feel about ourselves on the inside? We hate on ourselves too easily because we see all those skinny pennies in the magazines with some cheap cheeks and ribs pushed out like kids suffering from malnutrition. Except they forced this trauma upon themselves. What a waster I was to forget that a couple were once attached. I knew I would have to face the challenge of a mighty mountain, scaling the heights from bottom to top. We can play these games of identity. We can act like we haven't got anything worth living for, but we do really. It takes a lot to touch your heart that has been closed up because of pressure. God can cure your anxiety. He is the best when it comes to fixing a problem. He has a solution even when it seems like a Rubik's Cube to an amateur like me. Tread with certainty, knowing God has prepared the way, even in the middle of the desert lanes. When oases are scarce and camels are thirsty, you feed and clothe me. You send angels and ravens to send me loaves and welcome distraction. I knew I had to fix things in my life, 'cause I came into temptation too easily. Although you were building up the power of resistance in me, you were calling me from beyond the grave. When the accuser wants me to stay there, pushed deep beneath the ground, I'm found nestled under your wings. You make my heart sing. You know what vexes me? You help me flex my spiritual muscles. You help me hustle these heartfelt rhymes and flow to the rhythm of your Holy Spirit. I'm just chilling with you. I'm just doing the things that you want me to do. Even though the other night I was crying while like Solange. If you do, I couldn't minimize Tony. I don't want to live my life like a phone. I have talked way too much baloney in my time. But you are the realest person who ever lived, and also the Lord of the universe who willingly forgives. The Lord of the harvest is bringing something fruitful and productive out of my life. See how I'm clinging tighter to you than ever before, knowing how desperately I need you to fight the many battles required to ultimately win this war over the enemy. Knowing in the end the devil is defeated, praying I won't be cheated on my future hope in Jesus. I'm the only one that can stop me crossing the river of souls and arriving safe and sound beyond the splendid gates of paradise. Refine me with holy fire. Change the desires of my heart till they reflect yours, my sweet Lord. Let me not procrastinate when it comes to changing my evil ways, 'cause tomorrow isn't promised to no one in the time and the day. I've waited for the world to make sense, but instead of attempting to make sense of the world, I should instead be concentrating on the intense heat you saved us from, or making my life a sweet smelling incense to your nostrils, or better yet, just focusing on how beautiful you are, how amazing and incredible you are. I know I use those words flippantly, but my mind is truly blown by your company. I'm totally enthralled at your many miracles and your stunning mercy, how it's renewed every morning. I know the sand is trickling from the top to the bottom of the hourglass. So right now I'm gonna make the most of every waking moment to praise you out loud. I wanna make my heavenly daddy proud, not ashamed. I never wanna hide the fact that you will bring me to life, and I am only able to survive because you allow me to continue inhaling and exhaling. Keep me from trailing behind while others succeed. Keep me from getting stuck in the camp of my enemy. You help me jump the fence and find my way back to you indefinitely. You refine me, chip away those things in me that bring you misery. I want to bring a smile to your face that never ever disappears. By your holy hands I was designed and engineered. You planned for me to be this big and this, not necessarily for everything to happen in my life the way it did, especially when I said and did things that caused the wall to be built between us. I know you worked despite those devious sections of my behalf. I'm sure without a doubt, Shadow, it was never part of your blueprint. Who am I to presume what your intentions are? Only that you say in your word that your will that none of us should perish, but all of us should cherish your love in our hearts and experience that abundant, glorious, eternal life in your arms. There are some people who plot and scheme and make plans for my future, and others who couldn't care less whether I live or die so long as I stay out of their head. It's hard to drink my coffee fast enough to keep it from getting cold. You help me go against the grain and current flow and break that mold. To have you and hold you is the greatest thing I own. To revel in your freedom and call you mine alone. Although you belong universally and exclusively to everyone who repents and believes, who was done that handing over of the heart required of us. Letting you take the reins, who am I to question if Jesus take the wheel meant more than a song to a thought up? You were ultimately the inspiration behind it. Get up for Jesus walks, though I would question if one should call themselves a follower of Christ, if they stated they have no intentions to turn atheists to believers. Well, actually, they are correct when you think about it, in the sense that we are just vessels which God uses to pour out his blessings on others. But if you love someone, you should be so passionate about them with adoration for them that you just can't resist telling absolutely everyone on earth about them. I know we all deal with fear and intimidation, but if we have him living in us, then we can conquer those giants, defeat those voices looking around our heads, trying to pull us down and kick us when we temporarily bite the dust from the pressure to resist. But I know you will help us win this target war inside us, to put the past behind us, to not let it rob us of our future in Jesus. You don't let our past define us. You are always around to remind us that you love us despite our mistakes. You use them to bring out your glory in us. Look at this tale of redemption. See how your hand is made moving in our lives. See how different we look once we took a long hard gaze at ourselves. And so how ugly and disgusting we were internally without you in our hearts. And then again how amazing and glorious we appear in contrast once we have decided to make you the captain of our ship once more, letting you take control of the direction our soul is heading in. I don't have to be dreading the future, 'cause it's safe in your hands. You won't wave a magic wand and make my past disappear, but you won't let it interfere with my destiny in you either. You have forgiven my sins, I find strength in your love. Out of the shadows and into the light, calling your name from the back of beyond. I don't know why. I find it easier to be negative instead of positive. I don't know why looking on the dark side seems to be the reflex action of my mediocre heart. They try to tell me I can never change, but I know my God has made it possible for me to see my morning become a foxtrot, and my teardrops turn to lasting joy. I recognize my need to trust you in order to succeed. You are everything I want to be. You show me the way, the truth, and the life you give me insight. Help me in this fight. Rebel against tokenism, but you know that it's a broken schism. Know that we are God-created organisms. I can fathom peace of mind that comes with knowing you more intimately. I feel your passion rising up in me and stirring me to greater glory in you. I find victory over sin and death. Praise you with every breath. Am I making progress or am I regressing? Life without somebody to love can be depressing. Expressing myself, your living water is refreshing. You help me out with every single problem I'm addressing. Take away my aggression unless it's directed against the enemy, assist my progression towards the light. Let your embers of truth burn bright in me. I don't come from a war-torn situation, except for the war raging on the side of me, tearing me apart psychologically. I may be everything some are trying to protect the kids from, or I could be everything they need to help them on the right track. If only I refuse to slide back into the swamplands of simple breakable habits. Wearing it like a nun wears a habit, or a priest wears a cassock, or a monk does a hooded cloak. They say don't poke a sleeping bear unless you want to experience a pain greater than the electric chair. Thousands of volts of electricity flowing through your veins. How can I change when I keep waking up wearing these chains? Lord, how let me remain in me. Let me choose to do the things that glorify you only. I experiment with society, test the water, see how they react to me. If they let the cat out the bag, then that I look at the world differently. I remember seeing folks with their eyes blindfolded and their hands tied behind their back being herded into a truck that should be late. Human trafficking. Don't ask me what that has to do with sports, but there was some charity associated with physical activity of the exercise kind that was engaging in this pursuit, which may or may not be considered trivial depending on your point of view. You could rightly argue that spotlighting a problem and making it come to life is an easy way to identify with it. Put yourself in the shoes of those who never chose to suffer in this way. But where do we go from here? How do we respond with our wallets and purses, not just our mouths and raised protesting fists? Perhaps we are a little too cold and uncaring in this world today. Maybe we struggle to find comfort in our own skin, so we are trying to escape it. We can be so much on edge about perceived discrimination, seeking recriminations and reparations from those we see as wronging us, attempting to do us over just because the rest of the world doesn't live like us. It doesn't mean they hate us just because the images they use to portray humanity don't reflect the lifestyle we chose. I'm holding down rumors that are split the same. I don't make any grain, but I try not to treat people mean, even though I fail more often than I succeed. Still, I know thanks to you I can gain victory. You don't restrict my access to anything, but you warn me of where wandering down that road might lead. Help me to fight the urge to stray from your path. Let your will become increasingly more attractive to me than the world and all its hollow shallowness. The ground is fallow, freshly plowed, ready for planting. Let us not be found wanting when you were calling us to surrender completely to you. Let us not be like that frog in the blender, ignorant of the devil's devices. Waiting until it's too late and our body gets squished by our spirits of indifference. We value individualism over virtue. This causes schisms when we butt heads and are either looking at the well because of class of religions or cultures. Or the age-old argument between all these youngsters of one always thinking they know better than the other, but we can all learn something from each other, can't we? If we see a little glimpse of godliness in each other, if we focus on what unites us instead of what divides us. Intelligence is not always best measured by what comes out of our mouths, but by our ability to comprehend the reality of God's existence. We don't need money in the bank to make us happy, just to pay the bills and feed our children. I should have listened to that little soft, small voice attempting to hold me back from those choices I made, which appeared to reflect the shade more than the sunlight. My future is bright and full of hope and purpose, thanks to you, who knows what goes on beneath the surface of my skin more accurately than anyone else. I trust you with my future more than my own self, 'cause you've already traveled there in your mind's eye. You've already seen what will eventuate in my life. I wish I had the peace of mind of knowing I will end up in heaven, but it's that fear of not knowing that keeps me from throwing my arms around the enemy. Just in case I can't guarantee playing with fire is going to help me dodge getting burned to cinders. I will not allow my spirit to be continually hindered by the villainous one that attempts to cut me to tinder, tugging splinters out from under my fingers. Lingering in your presence, fast tracks beyond the route to wholesomeness. Becoming everything you want from me instead of what the enemy has planned for me, reeking of sin I may be. Yet still I'm running after you relentlessly. No, I didn't say Jen, you heard me right the first time. I never wanted my morality to get slimed. But you wiped away all that disgusting mess off me and washed me clean with your blood. Didn't you still find something lovely in me? Even with my heart of wickedness, you saw the potential for redemption in me. You saw me on the other side of the river instead of drowning in it, swallowed by this lifestyle of impurity, wherein you live in me like a sickened skin reversed. The world can't see it, but I've got you living in me now. I want your holiness to be made clearly evident in me. Purely for the purpose of winning souls over for your kingdom, instead of dragging them down to hell with me. Can you see the struggle war inside of me between who I am and who I want to be? You don't need to convince me that my mistakes caused me to become a soldier by my own and born for loneliness. Nature helped me in this ongoing conflict, not to restrict you access to the inner workings of my head. It's when I shut you up that I get into grief in the first place. Take my troubles to bed. Let them make beggars out of my beliefs. Try as they might, they will never achieve all that much. Attempting to take me down a peg or two. I know my arrogance could use some working on by you. It's a complex conundrum. Loving you, you're still struggling so much to leave the past buried in the ground. 6 feet under is where I can be found, sealed within my dirty mind, till you came along and broke me out that hell hole. You know the needs, wants, and desires of my soul. Is it only in my death that I will celebrate the funeral of my selfishness? Is it only beyond this life that I find liberty? How far can I fall down? How many times can I mess up before the time bomb explodes? And my number is up. That Grim Reaper's bell is ringing for me. I'm singing for you, all my Lord and King. I don't have to wait till I'm pushing up daisies to love you and serve you, to choose you only over the world. Let me only be attracted to the things that bring you much too. Dirty, rotten, scumbag feelings attach themselves to me. Snip them off me, Lord, please, right now. Let me inhale war and exhale your peace. People don't truly want to sacrifice the right to self-defense. We may put up a pretense of being okay with this flooding of human trafficking to reign in our midst. But that's just a mechanism we create in our minds to help us deal with the fear, push it to one side, live with a conscience that's clear. Queer still means unusual if you choose to attach its original intent, as opposed to the bastardized interpretation which attempts to reinvent normality and redefine humanity. Curiosity can be possessing an inquiring mind, and from the get-go had nothing to do with sexual deviancy at all. Ironic, my friend used that term to describe me, not herself. But she was the one straying from what many still consider socially unacceptable and morally repugnant. Let's not be ambiguous about what our intentions are in this movement. The art of seizing over ever-passing moments, capturing them and transforming them into art. I would like to start my own business, if only I had a more courageous heart. My problem is I find myself straying almost every day in some shape or form. Yet still you were patient with your little lamb. You see your nature in him, strong enough to push the devil out the way. When he tells me about my past and flaunts my failures in front of me, I boast of the achievements of my divine creator. I roar proud over my God who shows up even in those spaces where they say he's not allowed. Oh, the arrogance of mankind to think they could hold back the maker of the universe, or prevent him from doing anything he wants in us, except for cause us to sin or force us to love him. 'Cause that's the exact opposite of his nature. That's how the other guy works. Battling the spirit of heaviness, your garment of praise, causing me to cock out of it. Smack my fears in the face, the ones that tell me I can't embrace your ways for the rest of my days. I wasn't being an isolated, reclusive hermit because I was scared to interact with the world for once. It was simply because I was too busy to stick my head up from my work and say hello. Have I got my priorities twisted? Definitely no ifs, buts, or maybes about it, no bones about it. Many doubt the depth of my friendship when I'm not prepared to put in those hard yards. I can see the irony of unwittingly living the life I was singing about in this song's trapped like a rat, sprung when I took the chase. Ever easy to squeeze, please above but you and your life frame, causing me to stumble again. See how I fumble and next, so know it all in vain. You're deep down inside and struggling in the same areas as all those other brothers and sisters. Still I am not my struggle. You will enable me to submit to you and resist the lure of the enemy. My situation has got me not wanting to be easily identified in public, hoping cops don't slow their roll around me. You're trusting I've got nothing to worry about in the eyes of the law or the Lord, 'cause your blood has already washed me clean from last night's dirty deeds. You enable me to change the way I relate to those too young for me to date. If kissing leads to cuddling and other things, then I like the self-control to walk away before our bodies get too heated. Help me live out my claims to represent your humbleness and meekness. Let me have that same heart you did when you walked us up. Way too busy looking out for the needs of others to indulge in self-pleasure. While you focused on what your death on the cross would achieve in terms of my eternal freedom to battle with all of those petty jealousies. All those voices trying to encourage you to turn stone into bread, to worship your creation instead of drawing glory to your Father's self. To risk your life making suicidal moves. Dieting exclusively on the life-giving word that proceeds from your mouth and nothing else. I forgot the seriousness of my situation. I had a temporary lapse of memory. I failed to draw the right conclusion. I wallowed in the delusions of the enemy. Yet still you helped me climb uphill. You enabled me to upskill, learning from experience and past mistakes, not to fall for the same old chips and chops like I used to back in the day, when I was a little more ignorant of my enemy's devices. When I had more hunger for the fast food I knew we would eat for breakfast the following morning, then concentrate on the spiritual atmosphere in the room where we were praying, skipping our dinner, seeking your face, no longer sinners. Nestled in the warmth of your heart's embrace, cleansing out the spirits that cluttered in that room, conjured up by past users of the hall, you dabbled in darkness and walked in bondage to evil spirits. You unlocked us from those chains of captivity. You saw a winner in me when I only saw a loser within myself. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that it is ultimately in your hands. I go through phases of extreme badness and extreme goodness. I want to be consistent in my actions. More like you and less like me. So confused sometimes I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But you make the words come out right anyway. When it's a struggle for me and I switch them up or flip them backwards, when others say my kind belong in a psych ward, 'cause we can come out right away. Oh, 'cause we can hear your voice. All of us, even those who deny they can, they just choose to ignore it, which allows them to live in the comfort of their supposed ignorance, which I don't think truly exists. 'Cause you have given all of us a conscience to tell the difference between right and wrong. Otherwise, why do our eyes start to water and our fingers get the shakes when we're feeling guilty? Why do we start to sweat under the intense heat of interrogative questions? Why do we start to blink faster and fail to maintain visual contact? Pupils darting and flickering, focusing on anything but the irises. I can never run fast enough to escape the reach of my sick old self, but you can make me a brand new person. I want to stumble across more good things, less bad things. Once I found your treasure, I want to share it with all the world around me. How many weeks will it take for my weakness to dissipate and your strength to reign in me? This guilty conscience has got me not even wanting to participate in ordinary human conversations. It's alone one's conducive to the ancient art of evangelism. Why do we more commonly share the evil news than the good news? Why do we slip so easily into the habits of gossiping and slandering one another? Why are we not kinder to our fathers and mothers? With your divine spark of assistance, they were the ones who raised us and gave us life. It can be too easy to see the worst in others instead of the best in them. Where can I turn to for my help and hope? I don't want to lower my standards. I refuse to slow down. And prepared for warfare, ready for the next throwdown. Who is going to show up now? All my accusers have simply packed their bags up and gone home. It is in your nature to be compassionate and loving. Remove me from my situation. Take me away from my sofa-stained self. I can see them looking down on me as my body lays there on the ground. Yet my spirit is soaring, turning loops around the telephone wire, out there dancing among the stars in the heaven, or lost somewhere amongst the endless sea of open roads. This could be my magnum opus or my epitaph. This could be the death sentence or of the future I'd previously envisioned for myself. Do you remember the positive contributions to society of those who indulge in criminal behavior, or do you merely focus on the mistakes you have made in the recent, present, or distant past? My language isn't my country. It attaches itself to the world around me. It pulls me back in time and shifts me forward, hurtling through space. It erases boundaries and borders between various groups, but it is ultimately your love, not our lips or linguistics, that enables us to join in the merry charleston of harmony. It is more than music and art that brings people together. It's our willingness to submit our passions to our Creator. In your hands we can be used to achieve greatness. In your heart is purity and righteousness. We shouldn't have to force our love for you. We should either come willingly or not at all. You don't use manipulation or pressure to make us change our minds. You don't forcefully coerce us to go along with what you say is truth, Yahweh. You just bide your time and wait until a crisis hits in the lives of us or someone else. Then we recognize our need for you, feeding off your holiness like a baby does its mother's milk, until the desire to do the things that please you completely consumes my soul. Let it burn like a mighty bush fire, ripping and roaring uncontrollably through every dinky country town around. Let your spirit spread throughout this land. Let it take over the atmosphere of our schools and churches. Let bullies find themselves unable to swing their fists in order to punch somebody's lights out. Cause your angels are standing in their way. You will give me the key to open the door to a better and brighter day, the impact of which must last for always. You intervene on my behalf. I love the way you have a laugh at me. I need to build up my dianoia, or spirit man, cause it's weak right now. But I know you can strengthen it. The more I meditate and focus on you, the deeper I get involved with your way of thinking, the more I spread it to the world, the more I know you will bless me. But my ultimate motivation isn't selfish gain, but merely to see those currently bound in chains choose a healthier way for their soul to behave. I would be a merciless mercenary if I didn't have your grace constantly comforting me, continually soothing the wounds I inflict upon myself with my somewhat flawed logic. Just because you're able to make me clean instantly doesn't mean I should bathe my mind in mud daily. Because if I do it often enough, eventually I don't see my need for you. I start to make excuses for my sins, get comfortable with them hanging around me. I start to defend them as normal and useful. I start to see them as inhabiting me, as part of me. But they do not belong to me. They were never meant to be subsumed as part of my identity. I was never meant to allow them to become absorbed inside my being. I am seeing the danger in hugging grudges. Bitterness and sour grapes often get the better of me. I can be that green-eyed monster with a ravenous appetite for whatever doesn't belong to me. Always wanting the food at the other guy's table, pinching his bread rolls and garlic loaves when his back is turned. Such an incorrigible person as I. But you discourage the horribleness in me. Stop me acting like I can't taste freedom forever on my lips. Thanks to your redeeming power, why do you choose to lavish your love on me? Why do you cause me to live in a lap of luxury in the light of eternity? It wows me that I did nothing to deserve your love, yet still you showed it to me. I am still seeing and hearing that same confused little girl who didn't know who she was spiritually or physically, hidden in a grown woman's body. I wonder if you view that same thing in me in male form. Do you think perhaps I am just playing pretend with you, or can you see the genuine change in me? I wish you could fall in love with our Creator, to be as besotted with him as I once thought you were. I'm sure you were. It's just that life and strife got in the way of your everlasting smile. Help me in my scared mental states when I struggle to relate to the rest of the world. Silence the debate in me that protests against your wisdom, even though you've proven yourself to me on numerous occasions. You have shown how you were able to turn the tables for me, to change the situation around so I am capable of grinning again. You see the switch and shift that takes place in me. I am yet to figure out whether I truly owe anyone anything except for you, my folks, and some of my closest homies, who have never failed to demonstrate unceasing belief in me, though I can see how I would cause you to lose faith in me when I disappoint you or let you down, when I don't always talk to you every day, when I blame you when things go wrong in my life, when I only turn to you when I want something from you, and always forget to thank you when you do something for me. What is it about me that causes me to adopt this attitude of callousness? I get how people find it hard to break ranks with the camp they once called comrade in the past. Now we are up in arms for a different reason, because this is the time and season of the rejuvenation of our souls. You are restoring them back to how they were meant to be in the world's first garden. We will not be nauseous in the face of pressure. We will not let stress exhaust us of our determination to pursue godliness in every area of our lives. Though it's frustrating not being able to know what lurks just around the corner, life is more enthralling, living with that mystery. I get misty-eyed thinking of the life I could have had in comparison to the one I currently have. It could have been so simple and easy, but something was bugging me. There seemed to be something quite not right with that picture. A certain spiritual incompatibility. I always assumed that I was the least holy one out of the two of us. Now I think she was more concerned with externals than internal things of eternal consequence. Because it shouldn't matter whose eyes are looking at us so long as we are doing what is right in the eyes of our Creator. But she made her culture her God. She couldn't see how culture sometimes needs to take a bow before the cross. I'm not saying mine was superior to hers, because we've all got cannibals lurking in our closets. We've all got baby killers swelling our ranks in the boggy sea of ancestors. But conversely, we also have them outnumbered, with those who chose to follow Christ and put him first. I know what you say, many are called but few are chosen. In truth, you mean all are called, but few choose you. Not everyone decides to listen to your voice and ignore the wicked one's diabolical plan for mankind to be swindled into making him or themselves their own gods, which amounts to the same thing in the long run. We can have good, clean fun. It does exist. It's not an oxymoron or an invented term that's a catalyst for boredom. When did we convince ourselves that we are only able to entertain ourselves if we are somehow bathing our minds in the filth of the world? When did we get to the point that we couldn't even rock the joint for one measly night without a little ounce of carnality to spoil our appetite for further holy meals? In dreams you see a wheel hidden within one mightier. Let us be like that spinning disc, content to rest in your peace, to turn only in the direction you lead us, let us circuit and circle this life, with our eyes always fixed on you, though sometimes we may have to pull away our heads in shame. Let us gaze on you still in our sorrow, for we know you all right, wipe every tear from our eyes, and we don't have to wait until we die to find happiness in you. We don't have to waste our lives living apart from you with what delights your heart. Overshadow all my overwhelming reasons to tremble in your presence. All the evidence that mounts up against me, erase its reign in I. Peace out.